See you soon. It's Devin's yowling. It's fun to say, too. I'm not going to lie. We are live, so we'll do the countdown. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Welcome. It's party time! So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong. It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party.
It's the pre-party with J.A.C.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party with J.A.C., a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is J.A.C., and every single Tuesday, I present myself to you, but not in a weird way, a way that talks about pro wrestling, specifically talking about the National Wrestling Alliance. Sometimes we talk about the United Wrestling Network, and various other times we'll talk about WWE, AEW, and all that sort of stuff. But we are specifically talking about the NWA because this is a pre-show for a show that you can watch on Roku called NWA POWERRR. NWA POWERRR airs every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And again, you can watch that on the Roku app. Then they do replays like at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. I won't be able to watch it live today, though. And it's not because I don't want to watch it. It actually looks like a really good show. But your boy Jay is heading out to Irvine. We're going to go watch the first episode of 2026 for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. It's the TV taping that they're doing out there at the Irvine Improv. And we're going to be watching some pro wrestling. I have the card. Do you want to know the card? I can tell you the card. Do you guys want to hear the card? I think you do. I hope you do. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time for me to say it. But some big matches, of course, tonight. I think the biggest match that is on this taping for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood will be the United Wrestling Network Tag Team title match, which will feature 5150 defending their tag titles against the former champions, the Wolf Zaddies. The Wolf Zaddies were tag team champions going back to last year. But Bad Dude Tito was unable to compete during one of the shows, and Shane Hayes filled in as one of the tag team champions. So in the title defense, there was no Bad Dude Tito, and of course, what happened then was they lost the titles. So, hey, thank you for the heart meet, Peter, and thanks for being a part of the fan club for 100 days. That's awesome, and I appreciate you. It's really cool. But again, getting to the point, so this matchup will be kind of a return bout for the tag titles. And again, the Wolf Zaddies had a very long run with the championship titles. We'll have to see what's going to happen next. Also on the card is going to be Matthias versus Vinny Pacifico. Vinny Pacifico has been a pretty well-known name out on the independent circuit. But I believe this is his first wrestling match for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Joey Lancaster will be taking on Javi. I've seen Javi at GCW before. I think this is his first chance in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Joey Lancaster used to team with Jake Redondo. So now they are working more independence or more as a singles tag team. Also, we will see Brittany Brooks, who I most recently saw on AEW competing against Viperous, who I most recently saw in an NWA ring. Then there will be the 6-man tag match of the Evantourage. It's Evan Daniels, exciting Evan Daniels and his boys versus Fidel Bravo, G Sharp, and Rob McKnight. Alex Gracia will be taking on Milo Matters, and Jordan Cruz is set to defend his United Wrestling Network world title tonight. I also forgot the return of Lester the Legend as he takes on Buck Skinner. We haven't seen Buck Skinner since last year. It's Sean, are you not interested in my United Wrestling Network talk? Is that what I'm getting from you? Let's see. Some more of the comments over here on YouTube. Double D says, we're live, pal. Yeah, did you guys hear me talking before the show started? There's ways to mute it. I just don't know how to do it. Good afternoon, Alliance fam. All the way direct from Atlanta, Georgia, where I wish there was some sort of wrestling happening for you right now, Jeremy. Glad to see you make that trip, brother. Sean Guerrero says, I like WCW World Championship Wrestling. It was better than ECW. Sean, there was a lot of things I liked about WCW, specifically the junior heavyweight division. I think that's what kept me alive as a wrestling fan for many, many years, was because of the luchador invasion of WCW's cruiserweight division. Rey Mysterio, Psicosis, Super Kahlo, Halloween, Damian Sace, Eddie Guerrero, Conan. I mean, all those guys were big influences on my wrestling fandom. So I'm glad that we can acknowledge that the cruiserweight division was one of the best things about the WCW in those days. Let's see. Sting and the Steiner Brothers and the Four Horsemen and Sid Vicious and the NWO. Yeah, I mean, look, Sting has always been where did I put it? It was here a minute ago. Oh, here it is. Sting has always been a favorite of mine. Seeing Sting wrestle not only for AEW but for the WWE, TNA, the NWA, WCW. Nothing but nice things to say about Sting and the Steiner Brothers. Big Steiner Brothers fan. When I think of tag team wrestling, I think of the Steiner Brothers. Michael Leshdog, what do you mean Kevin Owens was a huge inspiration? And sincere, yeah, I do think they should bring back the cruiserweight division in WWE, but we're talking more about the NWA right now. Worm, that's awesome, man. I know that for some people, flying is not a desired way to travel. For me, I think that's the only way I like to travel. Double D. I mean, tell me when I'm lying. Tell me when I'm lying. Yes, and Sean, the NWA with Flair and the Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Lex Luger, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, Road Warriors. I guess we call them the Road Warriors when we talk about their time in the NWA. The Rock and Roll Express, right? But with ECW, there's a lot of connection to the NWA as well. The ECW World Champion Shane Douglas won a tournament to become NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion back in 1993. Famously threw the belt down, declared himself the ECW World Champion, and said he would not carry a title that was dead 4 years earlier, some shit like that. And the funny thing about that is, where is ECW today? We still have an NWA. Tell me where ECW is today. Real quick, in case Alex Misery didn't see that in the chat, our friend Double D says, hell of a match with Carson, Bartholomew, Drake, and Misery. It was a great match, but I need more Misery on my TV. I feel like Alexander Miserable, and again, I'm not saying this because he's in the chat. I would say this even if he wasn't in the chat. I feel like one of the bright spots of the NWA going forward is the youth movement. There's a lot of young guys on that roster, and I feel like Alex Misery is a guy who could be more than what they're allowing him to be right now. Now, obviously, storylines are developing and talent is being built up, but man, Misery should be the master of the no limits matches, I think what they call them. And I feel like that should parlay himself into a title shot with maybe the TV championship or a world junior heavyweight title at some point. I know him and Slade have wrestled before. I would like to see them lock horns once again. And, with the idea that the world television champion, Brian Idol, is now able to cash in for a world heavyweight championship shot because he went through the best of 7 series. I really feel like, my guy might be Alex Misery. it's dead because of Paul Heyman. I mean, sure, Sean. I mean, that's one way to suggest it. Look, there's all kinds of reasons why things exist and don't exist, right? The NWA was never, the NWA has been in a steady decline from its days of Lou Thez and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I mean, we're talking about nearly 78 years of existence, but the NWA still does exist, and it doesn't matter what happened, or which, the NWA at one point had territories that were WCW. They had a territory that was called New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had a territory called EMLL, which would later become CMLL. At one point, the NWA was the granddaddy of them all. It was the biggest sanctioning body for professional wrestling. The WWE was once part of the NWA. TNA Wrestling was once part of the NWA. ECW was once part of the NWA. All of these properties and these promotions were once part of the National Wrestling Alliance. And now obviously time has changed, and look where the WWE is at today. Look where TNA is at today. But the NWA is still around. And I feel like that is important to talk about because, again, they have weekly television shows on Roku. They are still fostering the Crockett Cup, which will take place in April in Forney, Texas. We do have a date for that now. And I really feel like things with the National Wrestling Alliance are moving upward. There's always going to be growing pains. And again, for a company to be around for nearly 80 years, it's only been under the ownership of William Patrick Corgan since 2016. And really, they didn't start doing much with it until 2017. So again, it's a big ask, but I feel like the NWA is moving in the right direction. Would you say you aren't Kevin Owens? Are you lying? I am absolutely not lying. Nobody outside of a few of you troublemakers here on the social medias accused me of being Kevin Owens. In my real life, only twice has someone asked if I was Kevin Owens. And then Alexander Miserable says, well, first Chris said, why is Alec Misery not booked in the territory system? Well, I mean, again, look, it's the territory systems book who they want to book, right? Joe Kazana Promotions has guys that he likes to use. WLW has guys they like to use. And also we know that, based on location, if you live in Missouri, it's going to be easier to get booked for a WLW show than it would be if you lived in Florida. Same thing for Joe Kazana Promotions. If you live in Florida, Tennessee isn't a short drive. It's a couple hours, maybe even a day. It's not always like so black and white and so cut and dry. It costs money to fly talent out. And I don't think in this day and age, it's responsible to ask talent to fly themselves out. So yeah, but as Misery says, this was only the beginning of what's to come. Carson won't get away with this. Neither will Aron. And also his eyes are always on the territory. You never know where he might show up. Look, we just recently had a trio of the World Heavyweight Champion, Thrillbilly Silas Mason, and the Country Gentleman come through New Mexico. And we saw that the Country Gentleman became the Duke City Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champions. There's always going to be an opportunity for talent. But again, it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Things need to be built up. And, again, we're talking about an organization that, again, 78 years old. It'll be 78, I believe, in, I want to say, July. I don't remember the exact date right off the top of my head, but we're heading towards the 78th anniversary show. Before we get there, of course, the Crockett Cup being announced for Forney, Texas, and they've already announced a bunch of tag teams who will be involved with the tournament. I really feel like things are looking up for the NWA. We'll see where Alexander Miserable fits into that. His group, The Lost, I definitely could see Lev and Misery teaming up in this tournament. And then also the NWA has been known to do a wild card battle royal beforehand to gain entrance into the tournament. So we'll have to wait and see. Our good friend Soto 619 says, "Did Alex ever find you?" Alex, Alex isn't looking for me. I'm the least of Alex worries right now. I mean, there's Carson Drake and there's Aaron Stevens. Those are the real evils, right? Alex Misery, like those are the guys who are really a sore in the side of our future World Junior Heavyweight Champion. I'm calling it now. Alex Misery, future World Junior Heavyweight Champion. So I don't think Alex Misery is looking for me per se, right? Like, because what's the benefit of that, right? What is he gonna get out of that? I mean, I'll take him out for some taquitos. Or like, do you like tacos? What kind of Mexican food do you like? In Southern California, we have great Mexican food. I mean, in New Mexico, great enchiladas. Great New Mexico enchiladas. They're a staple here. Any Southwest diets. Misery, I must have got lost in the mail. The merch, I'll reach out to Danny Deals, find out what happened. I don't know. I should have a lost shirt here already. I don't know what's going on. Wait, is that a taquito? Oh, it's a coffin. Oh, I was hoping it was a taquito. It would be much better if it was a taquito, Alex Misery. Noob, I'm doing all right with the simple fact, except that Alex Misery is threatening to meet up with me. I don't guess that's a threat. I guess it's a promise. I don't know. Is this the Kevin Owens show? Mikey, it is not. It's not. I'm not Kevin Owens, guys. If I was Kevin Owens, Alex Misery wouldn't be like searching me out. He would know that I'm in Canada. Hey. If I was in Canada, I wouldn't have to worry about Alex Misery because I'd be in Canada. Why do I add A to everything? He's way better than Dad Nerd. Were you in Ontario last week? Were you at the AEW TV taping? Did I miss you again? We're all over the place today, guys. I'm sorry. I should be better than this. I'm not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's Championship Wrestling from Hollywood TV taping. Of course, they'll be in Gotham on the 24th. And so that's the other big event for the United Wrestling Network. And then, of course, the big event, real big event, is going to be coming soon to Thunder Studios in Long Beach, where they're going to be live. And let me pull up that card real quick, because I feel like that's one that's worth talking about. They were also going to have a live event on March, what day is that? March 7th? March 8th. Sunday Night Slam. And Sunday Night Slam, again, is featuring talents from the United Wrestling Network, as well as some of the best free agents out there in pro wrestling today. They're going to have Hammerstone, who we most recently saw with the NWA. He defeated Trevor Murdoch. He'll be taking on Jordan Cruz in the main event that night. Richard Holiday is expected to be there. Big Mama will be defending the United Wrestling Network Women's Championship against Alex 𝙃𝙊𝙒𝙀𝙍𝙍. The Heritage Champion, Maximilian, will be there. And, of course, the 5150 retains the tag titles tonight against the Wolf Zaddies. They will take on Live Danger. And that's all taking place at March 8th in Long Beach, California. And the thing that you should all know about that is this event is going to be on Triller, it's going to be on Fubo, and it's going to be on Roku. So the NWA is not the only wrestling promotion out there on Roku, just so you know. In fact, if you go to Roku, you'll find matches from WWO, which was a independent wrestling promotion in Tijuana. You'll see matches from the IWA Puerto Rico library from the Savoldi family. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. As Wolf Zaddies are your boys, I like to think Bad Dude Tito and Che Cabrera are my boys too, Dad Nerd. So I'm excited to see them. Of course, Danny Limelight's my guy. I'm kind of conflicted tonight because both of those tag teams are very exciting and fun to watch. So it'll be hard to pick there. Sean asked, am I going to watch the Elimination Chamber next Sunday on ESPN app? No, but I will probably watch with my pal Soto on TikTok. Thanks for the follow, Aaron. Appreciate you. Again, Soto, you say his name and he appears. I believe in Soto. Yeah, if you are looking for a place to watch Elimination Chamber, you should check out the TikTok with Soto619. He'll be doing a live watch along. And Jake responded, said he will be there tonight. I told you Jake is our regular at Championship Wrestling. And you can be a regular too by watching them on YouTube at Memphis Wrestling YouTube channel. Just search. I should have a link. They should have a link. They should have a QR code. I can put it up on the screen. Just be like, boom, here it is, guys. Take a look. All right, so that's enough of talking about everything else but the NWA. There is a lot going on with the National Wrestling Alliance, and of course, like we previewed, that there is going to be the Crockett Cup. But we had some doubts. I'm not going to lie, I had some doubts. I thought maybe that they were going to do the Crockett Cup as part of just a regular television taping, but they did announce that they will have the Crockett Cup be its own event. It is going to be taking place on April 4th in Forney, Texas, which was home of the 2024 Crockett Cup, interestingly enough. But before we get to the Crockett Cup, obviously, they're doing a TV taping on February the 21st. That is this Saturday. And, of course, scheduled to appear will be Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, your NWA Worlds Heavyweight Champion, Kerry Morton and Alex Taylor, the Women's World Champion, Natalia Markova, the TV Champion, Brian Idol, Pretty Boy Smooth and Pastor CeeLo, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl the Machine Gun Anderson, the Towering Greta, the United States Tag Team Champions, the Slime Balls, the Page Sisters, Kenzie and Kylie, Carson Drake, Knox and Murdoch, but Knox is still on the IL, so I don't know where Trevor stands for this year's Crockett Cup. We have the Women's TV Champion, Tiffany Nieves, with her manager, Miss Star. The Hex will probably be in action as well, as they are the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. And Mondo and Slade, your national and junior heavyweight champion, respectively, will also be there. And I do believe they're going to be doing some preliminary matches for the Crockett Cup. We will have to wait and see. They have already made some more announcements for the Crockett Cup as well, as we're supposed to see. They are advertising the Good Brothers, which is great news. Carl the Machine Gun Anderson and Luke Gallows being a part of the NWA is very exciting to me. Aaron Stevens, Federations of Champions, which is Carson Drake, Lockjaw Drake, Slade and Mondo and the Slime Balls. They're all supposed to be there at the Crockett Cup. Tiffany Nieves will more likely defend her television title there at the Crockett Cup, as well as the NWA Texas champion, Izzy James, the TSW champion, Bam Bam Malone, the Holy Grail, the Colognes, Primo and Epico, Big Strong Mims and the Pope, Joe Kazana, the Country Gentleman, and more. So, again, big shows are coming to Forney, Texas. That'll be the Crockett Cup. That'll be this big signature live event. Now, we haven't had anything else scheduled. We have the TV tapings taking place this February the 21st in Tampa, and then the next big event announced will be the Crockett Cup in April. So that means, what that means is, believe that TV is finally going to catch up to production. I think we're finally going to see stuff line up in the correct way. Matt Underwood says, Alex Misery, where's Crazy Steve? Crazy Steve is not exclusive to the NWA. Not that I feel like, how do we phrase this the right way? I feel like Crazy Steve is able to work the NWA, but that's not his home promotion, where Misery is more of a home NWA talent. Like, that's kind of his base. So I don't know that we're going to see Crazy Steve anytime soon, but I'd love to see Steve return, Crazy Steve and Alex Misery return for the Crockett Cup. Although something tells me we might see Lev and Misery as a tag team, which they looked really good the last time we saw them wrestle. I don't mind that as a pairing. I just think that that's what it is. Willie Bowen getting in a little bit later on the show, but he's got his Tyrus joke of the day. Hey, J. Cal, Tyrus has recorded his first CD called Rotisserie Chicken. What does that mean? What does that mean, Willie? What do you mean by that? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Willie, but it made me laugh. So I guess whatever it means, it made me laugh. In terms of the teams announced for the Crockett Cup, and we'll do a deeper dive on this on Thursday. Last week we were supposed to talk more about the Crockett Cup, but we kind of got sidetracked. But the names that they've already announced for the Crockett Cup this year are the Wrestling Machines, which is the pairing of Mondo and Slade. Where they've also announced for the Crockett Cup Jack and Eddie. I want to make sure there's a nice pause in between there. Apparently, they are talents from NWA Chicago. So, I guess that we could say them. Are they doing the Crockett Cup as a standalone PLE, or are they a power taping? Patrick, it's the C. So, I don't think it's a pay-per-view per se, but their signature live events have just become TV tapings. So there will be singles matches. Like we saw this last year at the Crockett Cup in Philly. They had Natalia Markova take on Kylie Page. Kenzie wrestled Natty Neihart. Thom Latimer faced off against Rhino and Colby Carino. We also had Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky in a dog chain match. So there is a lot of, different matches that'll be a part of the PLE or SLE, the signature live event. So I'm not expecting it to just be, it's going to essentially be a power taping. And then Patrick also asked, do you think we'd get teams from the territories in the Crockett Cup? Well, like I said, Jack and Eddie. We're also supposed to have the Chicago Tag Team Champions, who are they were the JV squad. I'm trying to think of their name right now. I can't think of it at the moment. The Country Gentlemen will be there. The Slime Balls will be there. The Hard Way was the team I was thinking of. They'll also be a part of it. Which is Jack Vaughn and Dalton McKenzie. They'll be a part of it. Mims and Pope will be a part of the Crockett Cup. So, a guy like Trevor Murdoch doesn't have a tag team partner. Last year, EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth were a team for the Rumble, not Rumble, but for the Cup. So I don't know if we're going to have that same dynamic this year. Willie asked, will the Hex be at the NWA Texas? I don't know, Willie. I can't tell you for sure. And Too Chill, thanks, man. I appreciate the follow. I'm doing well. I'm talking about the NWA right now. We're talking NWA Wrestling here on TikTok and on YouTube and on Twitch. And then Ben just joined the chat. What's up, Ben? I hope you're having a good week. Good to see you again. Let's see. So, yeah, there's a lot of exciting things I feel like that are happening with the NWA right now. We just mentioned, of course, the Crockett Cup is coming up on April the 4th, which is the 40th anniversary of the tournament. Now, only in the modern day have we only had a handful of Crockett Cups, and we'll talk about that more on Thursday. But other live shows that are coming to the territories, you want to be keep your eyes peeled for the Texas Dog Pound Championship Wrestling Paradox, which is their TV tapings that they do for YouTube. I believe they have tapings scheduled for the 22nd of February, the 29th of March, and the 26th of February. Then, Ben, the Crockett Cup this year will be taking place in Forney, Texas. Saturday, February 28th, next Saturday, not this upcoming Saturday, but next Saturday, WLW does Salute to the Service, and that'll be in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Then on Saturday, also Saturday, the February 28th, Body Slams in the Berg, St. Petersburg, Florida. The aforementioned Alex Misery, Brian Idol, Greta, Damian Fenrir, Daisy Kill, and so much more. You want to check out Fight the World Wrestling too, as although they're not officially NWA sanctioned, they are NWA friendly. A lot of good wrestling for the NWA is coming up, and again, the big announcement of the show coming this next weekend, I think, is a big deal. Willie, I know you don't enjoy WWE. And I don't think that I would never ask you to watch WWE or give WWE a chance. But I will say this, as somebody who watches wrestling from everywhere, I go to Tijuana and watch Lucha Libre. I go in Southern California, I watch the independents, almost all the promotions, Game Changer Wrestling. Later tonight, I'll be at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I will watch all wrestling. And I get that there are people that don't enjoy the WWE anymore. Ben on TikTok just said he doesn't enjoy the WWE anymore either. But that's fine. There's so many different options out there. There's TNA wrestling. Well, TNA might be a little bit too much WWE influence. Cool. There's AEW. Well, I don't know about AEW. Cool. There's New Japan. There's CMLL. There's AAA. AAA has WWE influence. Okay, you don't have to watch that either. There's Memphis Wrestling. They do weekly TV show. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Gotham Wrestling. Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. All Japan Pro Wrestling. There's so much product out there. ROH, MLW, Maple Leaf. There's so many different wrestling promotions out there. I would never ask anyone to watch a product that they don't enjoy. But I would also argue that, I'm not going to stop anyone from watching a product that they do enjoy. If that makes sense. I hope it does. Anyways, take that off the screen. So we have a big night for the NWA this week. Like before mentioned, this week's Power. It's going to be a good one, I think. I haven't watched it yet. I never watch Power until after the pre-party. And of course, this week, like I mentioned, I won't be watching live because I'm heading out to Irvine as soon as the show ends to watch and make content with Championship Wrestling. But this week we have on Power a couple of different matches, and let's talk about those, right? Tyler Stevens, he makes his return to the Power as he takes on a former two-time world champion, former two-time tag team champion, former national champion in Trevor Murdoch. Tyler Stevens, also known as The Wall, regularly works for Kross Fire Wrestling in NWA territory. The Wall made his Power debut when he won the national title Invitational Gauntlet at the 77th anniversary show. Subsequently, he was able to challenge Mike Mondo for the title, unsuccessfully, mind you, but he did challenge for it. We haven't seen him on TV since. Trevor Murdoch, similarly, has kind of been reeling since his partner Mike Knox was injured. Once they lost the NWA World Tag Team titles, he has had a loss to Thom Latimer for the number one contender spot for the World's Heavyweight Championship, and then also recently lost to Hammerstone. That match was such a cluster. I did not enjoy that at all. But, this is an opportunity to see Trevor get correct. And whoever wins this match is certainly going to line up for opportunities down the road. Again, a former World Heavyweight Champion definitely could use some forward momentum. And then the Wall could definitely benefit from having an opportunity to be seen and get a big victory over Trevor Murdoch. Also, we will have Aron Stevens, Federation of Champions. Yes, that's what they call them. The Wrestling Machines, Mondo and Slade, take on Wrecking Ball Legursky and J.A.C. Mondo and Slade as a tag team have fared very well. They looked good at the Crockett Cup. That's the first time we got to see them as a tag team. They defeated the Country Gentlemen in their first match, but lost to Knox and Murdoch after that, being eliminated from the Cup. But shortly after that, Mondo would win the national championship at 77, and shortly after that, Slade would win the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. So both men are champions in their own right, but tonight they'll be working as a tag team, perhaps maybe a warm-up for the Crockett Cup. And they will take on the duo of J.A.C. and Wrecking Ball Legursky. Again, J.A.C. is really only wrestled for Power one time when he challenged for the World's Heavyweight Championship against Thrillbilly Silas Mason and lost. Legursky really didn't have a very positive 2025 as a singles competitor. Now, he did beat Jay Bradley in a dog collar match, steel chain match, but ended up losing to Mims for the national title and later Mondo for the national title. So again, Legursky and J.A.C have a lot to prove tonight, too, if they want to be considered for potential Crockett Cup inclusion or potential title matches down the road. So they need something really big right there. Alex Taylor will also be in action. He's taking on Damian Fenrir. Taylor is trying to right the ship. Taylor lost the World Junior Heavyweight title to Slade a few weeks back. When Taylor was World Junior Heavyweight Champion, he held the title for 476 days, taking the titles to Saskatchewan, Canada, to Florida, to New York, to Tennessee, to North Carolina, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Ohio, as champion. And he also, while champion, was defending the U.S. tag titles in other parts of the country as well. He won the title in Illinois by defeating, oh man, I just forgot his name. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Someone in the chat, help me out. Anyways, all the same, Alex Taylor needs to right the ship after such a successful run as World Junior Heavyweight Champion. He definitely needs some positive momentum going into the Crockett Cup. It has been announced that Taylor and Morton will be working as a tag team. They won the 2024 Crockett Cup. I'm not sure where Taylor will stand at that point. He is taking on Damian Fenrir. Fenrir has also had kind of a patchy run with the NWA in 2025. He did win a matchup that was called the King B match, where he defeated Luke Curtis and Spencer Slade to get a number one title shot against Alex Taylor, but lost that match. Now that Taylor doesn't have the title, is he more susceptible or less susceptible to Fenrir in that ring? And Fenrir has looked great in his short time with the NWA, and I feel like Fenrir could be a superstar in the making. So we'll have to wait to see what is next for both of those guys. And clearly that's going to happen tonight on this week's Power. In addition to the World Heavyweight Champion finally defending against Thom Latimer. Now, Thom Latimer was supposed to challenge for that title a few weeks back, but Matt Cardona sidetracked the opposition, distracted William Patrick Corgan, eliminated Thom Latimer from the match, and stole that match for himself. But this week, it's Thrillbilly. It's Thom Latimer. It's the 10 pounds of gold. This one, they're going to have a winner. They're going to have that match. It's going to happen. And, Thom Latimer has been chomping at the bit for this opportunity. No more does he sound a little nervous or scared or anything else. It sounds like he's prepared. And again, Thrillbilly Silas Mason has made every effort he can to take the 10 pounds of gold everywhere he goes. We've seen him defend the title on Memphis TV. We've seen him defend the title in Joe Kazana Promotions. He's defended the title in New Mexico. He's supposed to take that title with him to Missouri later this month. And then, of course, he'll be defending that title if he's still champion come the 21st this weekend with the NWA. So obviously it's a big deal for Silas Mason. He has to get through Thom Latimer to solidify his reign as World's Heavyweight Champion. You have to beat the former champions. You have to beat the guys that are in front of you. So this is a big time moment for Thrillbilly Silas Mason. It was one thing to beat Thom Latimer once, but can he do it twice? And I guess that'll be a defining moment in the career of Thrillbilly Silas Mason, who we hope to have on this podcast very, very soon, the Alliance Blog podcast. If you hadn't checked it out recently, we spoke to Pretty Boy Smooth last week. The week before that, we spoke to Spencer Slade. We're gearing up to speak to David Marquez later this afternoon. And we have some guests who are coming down the pike, like Cheeseburger from ROH. We're going to talk to Brutal Bob Evans, hopefully very soon. And, and maybe even Little Cholo, who we discovered is following us now on TikTok. So we'll see if that pans out. Again, I want to run over here to the chat and talk more wrestling with you guys. Chris Shoemaker liking that hat. Yeah, man, you can get that on the website, alliance-wrestling.com. Check out the merch section. And we do have hats and T-shirts ready for your purchase if one was so inclined. This one is one of my favorites. I like the red and black. We went back and forth on it a lot. And, I almost went with the white logo, and I'm so glad I didn't. I like having our own look, and the red and black I feel like looks really sharp. Let's see. Willie Bowen says, I do enjoy All Japan Pro Wrestling, Maple Leaf Wrestling, the UWN, Memphis Heritage Wrestling. Well, that's great. Willie, did you see Nick Nemeth is supposed to be on a future episode of Memphis Wrestling? I think it'll be next week's episode of Memphis. Personally, like I said, I'm going to go down and watch Championship Wrestling later tonight. We ran down the card earlier this evening. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, their world champion, Josh Alexander, is taking that title down to CMLL. Hope you guys, if you're watching CMLL, will check that out. And then Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is supposed to be doing an event in conjunction with Ring of Honor, I think, next month as well. So that's a lot of cool things happening with Maple Leaf Pro. Would love to see them bring back the World's Heavyweight Champion. They booked Thom Latimer 2 times, I believe, as World's Heavyweight Champion. It'd be cool to see them book the Thrillbilly Silas Mason there too. Double D says Chris Irving to meet Y2J. What do you mean, Double D? What does that mean? Noob. We would love to have Markova on the podcast. I don't know how to actually get in contact with her, but we are reaching out to a lot of the talent to get more NWA talk here on this podcast. Of course, Thrillbilly Silas Mason. We want to speak with Mike Mondo. The 𝙃𝙊𝙐𝙍𝙍 brothers are invited to be part of the show soon. And Markova would certainly fit on that. If she could make time for us, we'd love to have her on. Ben says, did you see Hangman taking the title off of MJF at their match at Revolution? We like to keep the NWA talk here, Ben, but I will be at Revolution, and I don't think you take the belt off of MJF at this point. I feel like he is too hot right now. I don't see anyone being worthy of taking the belt off of him. Oh, okay. I got you, Double D. I'm going to Irvine. You're talking about Irvine. Similar but different. Bobby, thanks for liking the video. Appreciate you. Local jobber Rusty Harwood just bought my local promotion, 2CW. He made a new gimmick that he struck gold and now owns yachts, and it's a hoot. I love local wrestling. I love silly wrestling right now. I feel like over-the-top grandiose gimmicks are fun in pro wrestling. You won't see them that often in the WWE anymore. You won't see them that often in AEW anymore. But the independents, I feel like, are where silly and over-the-top gimmicks work. And personally, I like that sort of thing. We have here in Southern California, again, Championship Wrestling, we have Maximilian, who is the Heritage Champion for the United Wrestling Network. He looks like $1 million. His agent gets 10%. I can't wait to see what he has in store tonight. His match hasn't been announced yet, so I'm assuming it'll be a mystery opponent. It should be interesting. Chris Shoemaker says, Markova is listening right now. Tell her to call in or she'll be on the list. Well, I don't have a way that Markova could call in, but she's welcome to come on anytime. Jay, Jay Von Cousin also streamed. Yeah, I recently saw Jay Von Evans join some friends of mine on TikTok on their stream, and that was really cool. Very, very cool to see wrestlers interacting with the fan base. We've been fortunate enough to have interviewed a couple of talents even recently, and hopefully we'll have some more talents coming on here soon. Double D says MVP isn't, I think you meant MJF, isn't dethroned until Will Ospreay defeats him. Will Ospreay is might be one of my favorite talents right now. I know he's hurt, but every time I watch that guy wrestle, I just think he's awesome. Hello, Jay. I'm not late to the party, right? Let's cheer on Talos, who will participate in the All Japan Pro Wrestling Champion Carnival Tournament. Absolutely, Dodie. Dodie is our resident All Japan Pro Wrestling super fan. And, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. We've seen NWA Texas talent appearing for Pro Wrestling Noah. We've seen Talos, and a few years back, we saw EC3 as part of All Japan Pro Wrestling. I feel like there is a market for NWA superstars to wrestle in Japan. I wish they would listen to me. I want to see the Country Gentleman and Thrillbilly Silas Mason in All Japan. I think all three of those guys would be phenomenal. And I feel like Casey Kazana would be brought to the next level. I feel like you could treat AJ Kazana as a modern day Stan Hansen and Silas Mason as a modern day Brody in All Japan. And I feel like that would be top notch and a lot of fun. But we'll see. Double D says, MVP as AEW champion is my new fever dream. Yeah, I think MVP was a lot of fun when he wrestled. And I like the idea that they treated him as like he had a sports agent and he was the top free agent. I wish they did more stuff like that in pro wrestling. Like I wish the NWA would be like, oh, we just signed this top free agent. They have an over-the-top manager like Arliss or something like that. That would be fun. Bobby Batito is asking a very good question. Oh, geez, Double T. I'll just put that on the screen. I'm not going to even acknowledge it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. Bobby Batito says, who would you like to see go against Markova for the Women's World Championship? Who would you like to see challenge for the Burke? Well, I mean, Shotzi Blackheart, I felt like was a great selection. We also have recently mentioned Giselle Shaw was there last week with the title defense. It would make sense to me that they keep bringing in some more of these former superstars from the WWE. That the artist formerly known as Gigi Dolan making her return to the end or making her debut for the NWA would be a lot of fun. Camille making her return or Taya Valkyrie making her return to the NWA would be a lot of fun as well. I do 100% believe and agree with that. Willie also brings up Freya the Slaya. She had one match in the NWA on Power for Circle Squared, and then has been a regular for we've seen her at Joe Kazana Promotions before. Big Mama, former women's television champion. It'd be great to see her back on NWA TV again. And I'm not familiar with Kirby Cassandra Golden, so I can't speak to that. And then Dodie says, Thrillbilly and AJ Kazana definitely speaks All Japan and SICW from their look. 100%. Yes, 100%. Willie brings up Vipress. Vipress is great, man. I'll see her tonight. Willie, Vipress will be in action tonight. I'm not sure who she's taking on at the moment. Chris Shoemaker has said over on TikTok, Markova versus Camille versus Gigi in a triple threat out of the gate. I mean, that would be pretty intense. Look, I know that Camille is still under AEW contract. I don't know exactly when that contract expires. I know there's a lot of talent that's working AEW that's allowed to work independent wrestling shows. I don't know if the NWA is considered a promotion that AEW talent can or cannot work for. But if Camille had an opportunity to wrestle for the NWA, I think most NWA fans would be very receptive to seeing Camille's return. But with that being said, Camille's also kind of said that she was a one-time women's champion. She never said anything about coming back to it. So I don't think we will ever see Camille in an NWA ring again. Now, never say never, right? But I feel like if Camille is ever out of her contract with AEW, that perhaps maybe the WWE could be interested. Perhaps TNA could be interested. And remember, when Camille signed with AEW, TNA really wasn't that big of an option. TNA was not even being televised on a major channel. They were on that Anthem Sports, which wasn't getting a lot of viewership. But now on AMC, I could see Camille definitely being interested in having that opportunity to wrestle on that platform for them. Priscilla Kelly, that's it, right, Double D. Priscilla Kelly, Gigi Dolan was on the first episode of Dave Marquez's UWN years back. Gigi Dolan was on, I think the second episode, and she wrestled, I believe it was Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's World title. I think that's what it was. I could be wrong. Dodie says, bring back Genocide and Debbie Malenko. They will bring worthy challenges for the Crush. Is Layla Hirsch still contracted to AEW? Would love to see her against Natalia. Layla Hirsch and Natalia Markova would be awesome for multiple reasons. Both of them are tough Russian wrestlers. I think that would be a lot of fun, actually, to see both of them in action. But I don't know where Layla Hirsch is these days. And then, of course, you got to consider MLW too. They have a women's division as well. Maybe some of those talents could sneak over for an opportunity to wrestle Markova and for the women's World Heavyweight Championship. I said women's World Heavyweight. There is no women's World Heavyweight. It's just the women's World Championship. Sorry. Noob says Big Mama was recently on an Explosion episode of TNA. That's cool. Camille has definitely enjoyed passive income. Any other better career than what she has now? I mean, that's just it too, right? Like, someone asked me recently about Camille, and I look, we know that Camille and Thom have started the wrestling school in Florida. I would love to have Thom come on and talk about it soon. We'll see if that ever manifests itself. But I don't know that, if I'm Camille, what's the incentive to try to get out of that contract? If AEW, if Tony Khan is giving you a paycheck and you're not taking any bumps and you're not missing any paydays, I mean, isn't that kind of I'm not saying that I feel as a wrestler, you are inclined to want to apply your craft and show people that you are a wrestler, that you're good at your job. But at the same time, like, Camille's also getting paid and not taking any bumps. She's, without being, a star in wrestling right now, she is definitely extending her career if she continues to keep wrestling once that contract expires. And then Bobby says, what about Natalia Markova versus Natty Neidhart? That'd be nice. Yeah, that would be an epic match. I think they would go crazy in that match. We've seen Natty with the real vicious sides. We know that Markova can get real vicious as well. But to me, I don't feel like we're going to see that because Natty Neidhart is basically just, she's in WWE. And the one time she did wrestle for the NWA, they didn't even televise it. So I don't think that they would bring her back in that capacity again. Chris Shoemaker mentions Deonna Purrazzo. I believe she's with ROH right now. I think she's contracted to AEW and ROH. So I don't know that we'll see her anytime soon in an NWA ring. Now, Deonna Purrazzo, I feel like would be an excellent addition to the NWA. If she was available, she's certainly a talent I would pick up if I'm Billy Corgan. But of course I'm not. I have a full head of hair and not millions and millions of dollars. So, scoreboard. Camilla's enjoying everybody's dream job. I mean, look, and there's a bunch of other women wrestlers who I would throw out there as well. One of my favorites, friend of the show, is Ruby Reyes, also known as Reina Del Rey in WoW. I feel like Reina Del Rey would be amazing in the NWA, and I feel like having her get a title shot against Markova would be fun because Markova has history of wrestling against challengers that are bigger than her. Specifically, we know that with Max the Impaler, Markova was kind of like the equalizer. Markova was doing a really good job of besting the top women in the NWA. So a new batch of talents would not hurt my feelings whatsoever, and I think Ruby Reyes or Reina Del Rey could be one of those. Deonna is on the SMHU commercials during SmackDown, and I think that's funny. That is funny, Devin. I didn't know that she was doing commercials for the university. I know she's talked about going back to school, and I've heard her that education's important to her. She's still doing that, so kudos for her to keep that going. The figure 4 says, we've never seen Kevin Owens and Jay Cal in the same room at the same time. You're right. I mean, look, I was there. I was in San Diego legitimately recording Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens in San Diego. I recorded it. I posted it online, but you didn't see me in the video, and people have gaslit me into thinking that maybe I wasn't there, but I was there. I was there. The figure 4. I was there. Noob says, yeah, bring back Natty to be the NWA, and then the match will randomly be admitted. Yeah, that is the joy of pro wrestling, right? I feel like had Natty's match aired on Roku, more people would have been talking about the NWA. Santana Garrett versus Natalia, I think, would also be interesting. I'm not sure what Santana Garrett is doing these days. Last time I saw her, she was wrestling for WoW, but I don't know even if she's still there. So that could be interesting. J-Rod versus Markova would be interesting. Yeah, now J-Rod, I feel where J-Rod excels is that she is bigger and stronger than Markova. She is literally, I think they call her like the supreme athlete or something like that. She would absolutely have a interesting match. Being stronger and more of an athlete doesn't make you a better wrestler. So I think Markova could pull a good match out of her, but I wouldn't say that would be a great match by any stretch. But yeah, there's a lot more to happen. There's a lot more going on. Again, we did a deep dive on upcoming NWA events. We talked a little bit about the Crockett Cup. I talked about the United Wrestling Network. They're doing their TV taping tonight. Championship Wrestling taking place in Irvine, California. It's going to be a big event. I'm really excited about this show. Again, we have 5150 challenging or defending their UWN tag titles against the Wolf Zaddies. And speaking of the Crockett Cup, a team like the Wolf Zaddies, it's a shame that they're not being involved in this tournament. The 5150, it's a shame that the NWA is not looking outward for solid tag teams. It's great that we have the Good Brothers. I'm excited to see what the Good Brothers bring to the table. The Immortals are the defending tag team champions. I'm sure they'll be a part of the tournament. But what I loved about the Crockett Cup in years past was they would bring in tag teams from outside of the NWA. We saw the tag team of PCO and Brody King as part of the Crockett Cup back in, I think that was 2018, maybe 2019. We saw the Briscoes as part of the Crockett Cup. We saw Matt Taven and Mike Bennett as part of the Crockett Cup. And to me, I feel like it would be very, very cool to see a team outside of the NWA get an opportunity, not just the guys from the territories, but teams, legitimate, good tag teams appear at the Crockett Cup. And, this is the 40th anniversary. I feel like this would be the right time to do that. The Briscoe brothers. Yeah, the Briscoe brothers won the Crockett Cup, lest we forget. And also, with that being said, so did the team of Brody King and PCO. They won the inaugural Crockett Cup in 2018. I think it was 2018. They won the Crockett Cup and went on. Actually, no. Now I'm almost positive it was 2019. They won the Crockett Cup and would later become the NWA World Tag Team Champions for the modern day NWA. And they held those titles until Royce Isaacs and Thom Latimer took the belts off of them. Double D says 40 teams for the 40th. That would be crazy. I would love it. I love tag team wrestling. I feel like tag team wrestling is in a lot of ways superior to the singles wrestling. And I feel like a good tag team is a thing of beauty. The Steiner brothers, the Road Warriors, modern day. I really love the Wolf Zaddies as a tag team. Going back a few years ago, TMDK, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols were a fantastic tag team. Looking at like AEW right now, Skyflight is a fun tag team. I don't know, man. I think more tag teams would make this better, but I'm not going to hold my breath for more than the basic tag teams. Dodie says, I prefer we see the NWA prioritizing tag team from the territories than outside of the off team if had a chance, but bring in Ren, Ivy, and Talus if we insist on outsiders. Dodie, I love it. I'd love to see some All Japan influence. I would love to see some crossover too. I mean, we mentioned the Colognes, right? I mean, the Colognes are obviously more famous from their time in the WWE and what they did with IWA Puerto Rico and World Wrestling Council. I said IWA Puerto Rico. Actually, I don't think they've wrestled for IWA. I think they've wrestled more for the World Wrestling Council. So they'll be part of the Crockett Cup too. But that's going to do it for me. We just hit that 301, so that's time to end the podcast. Again, guys, I really do appreciate you hanging out with us each and every Tuesday as the pre-party or that first hour we do on TikTok. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It makes my Tuesday so much more fun. Make sure you visit us on social media at the Alliance Blog, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and everywhere else. I will be posting content from tonight's event on our social media platforms, so make sure you're there. We'll be talking to Dave Marquez. Hopefully we can get that interview done tonight and up at the Alliance Blog on iHeartRadio or Amazon or wherever you listen to your podcast at. But until next time, we'll see you at the matches. Good night.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at the Alliance Blog. And until next time,